Hello friends, welcome to this channel, The Way to God in You. I'm spiritual teacher and author from Poland, and today's message regarding possessing children will be given by Mary, Ascended Mistress Mary. My dear holy, beloved family, my dear holy, beloved child, please do bring into your field of awareness, into your consciousness, the very act that you were brought into this world of form, this world of temporary things. You are brought into this world by divine force that used your so-called earthly parents. They were used, and their union was used to bring you down from heaven onto earth. You were brought down by a force that is greater, far greater than egoic will of your parents. It doesn't matter if they love one another after this act. It doesn't matter if they live together after this act. It doesn't matter if they are the perfect match. It doesn't matter at all. What does matter is that there is some greater force that is bringing itself forth into this world of so-called material illusion, and this greater force is your divine consciousness. This is your will, the will of God, the will to experience, to be in form, to experience all this the dimension has to offer. You were brought here by a force. And now, your question, or the question that many of you might have, is it possible, if I'm a parent, or if I want to be a parent, is it possible to somehow negotiate with this force up in the heaven and somehow convince this force that I'm supposed to have a children, I'm at this age, soon maybe my period will end permanently and I won't be able to have children, and now it's high time for me to have children. Who tells all those little stories? Are those stories put into your brain by your parents, maybe by your friends, maybe by your family? Maybe that's the expectation of the society that you are supposed to have children. Please take a very, very deep look at what we've been saying at the very beginning of this message. You were not brought here by egoic will of your parents. The egoic will of your parents was far, somewhere, not that important. What was important was that some divine force wanted you to be here in this form, in this dimension, and this will. You do not have actually any control at all over this will. You cannot control it. It controls you, in fact. It's the other way around. And if you accept that, okay, God, this is your decision, if I will have children or not, I have nothing to do with it. This is outside of my field of knowledge. It's outside my authority. I have no authority over this decision whether a new life form will appear through this vessel on this planet. I do not have this authority. There is divine plan that is unfolding on this planet. And part of this plan is, for some of you, that there will be tension in your lives, in your egoic structures, that the ego will want children because my parents want grandchildren, because society tells me this and that, because I am at this age and because I have this amount of money and I can afford children finally now, etc., etc., etc. There are many earthly concerns that you deeply take into consideration, but this one, whether I'm supposed to actually have children, few of you ask this question. Few of you ask this question because it actually turns around what you have been thinking about yourself, what you have been thinking about the world, what you have been thinking about God, and the reason for your existence. It turns it around. It actually now turns out that your parents are not the ones responsible for your creation and for your existence. And this is supposed to take a lot of burden off your shoulders so that you might actually live a divine life that you are supposed to have here. And maybe in this divine life that you are living, there are some other children or some other offspring that you are supposed to have. Maybe this offspring is in form of some other creation than actual child. Maybe your children will look like this. If you allow this divine guidance to actually speak to you, and it entails that you do not listen to all this egoic chatter that is happening continuously, and a lot of this chatter might actually come from the society, not from within you. And as I'm saying this, I also need to strongly mention that there are some of you who are like, I heard in message from Mary that having children maybe is not the way for me, and I will postpone this as far as possible, and maybe I'm not young enough now. You know, I'm so old that when my children will be like 20, I will be like 60 or 65. It's far too late. It's better not to have children, etc., etc., etc. So there is another strand in consciousness that's saying, avoid having children at all costs, because who's saying this? Who is saying this? And it's being said by the same egoic entity that you actually started to believe in. I need this amount of money. My children need this. They don't need this. They need you and only you. For time being, of course. And you actually don't take this into consideration. You just want to postpone this so-called decision to open yourself up to receiving children. You postpone this decision as far as possible, and then you wait and wait and wait, and you are feeling deep inside you, that is requirement for me and for my spiritual awakening. That is required step. And as I'm saying this, please remember, this is not required step for everybody, but for those of you that feel a certain connection with those words. Something is being brought up in you and you feel this, it might be felt as a tension. It might be felt as a stinging or biting inside you, as form of friction, as form of... You know then that what is being said here is meant specifically for you, and it is meant to open you up so that you might actually receive not a child, not a child, but a blessing from the divine source, which will actually blow up your mind. And by blowing your mind, I mean your ego will actually, possibly, potentially disappear, or at least be very, very severely damaged by an appearance of such an entity with such a power, with such a history, that it will actually touch so many of your buttons. You will be relieved from a belief that ego is an actual threat to your or anybody else's divinity. Please rest assured that I am with you, and I want to hold your hand and guide you on a pathway of awakening to consciousness of your divinity, and also of divinity of all creation. Please do rest assured, I am with you. Thank you so much for watching, for participating in this message, and I'm opening up for more messages like this in English. So if you have any questions to the Ascended Masters, you can ask them in comments below. Also, if you like to have a private session with me, there is also information in the description box below. Thank you so much, and if you would like to support this channel, there is also information below in the description. Take care, have fun, bye.